In the deepest reaches of a forgotten cavern untouched by time, the air hangs motionless and cold. Ancient frost lines the stone like the quiet handwriting of forgotten spirits. Nothing moves, and nothing dares disturb the silence. Yet somewhere within this stillness, a faint tremor begins to form, a pulse of unseen energy waiting to awaken. It is here that the first echoes of an old curse slowly rise. The cavern expands into a vast frozen chamber, its icy spires reaching like the ribs of a slumbering beast. Light barely touches this place, swallowed by the blue haze that drifts endlessly between the walls. A quiet hum vibrates through the air, subtle but growing stronger. Something buried within the depths is stirring, something ancient, watching, waiting for the world above to forget. In a narrow corridor of frost and stone, the silence feels heavier, as though the walls themselves are holding their breath. Mist clings to the ground in slow, rolling waves. Every surface glitters with untouched ice, reflecting ghostly shapes that vanish when looked at directly. This place is not empty, it is listening. And every whisper of wind echoes like a memory, awakening from centuries of sleep. Here, the cavern shifts in shape, widening into a cathedral of ice. Its towering arches bend impossibly, shaped by forces unknown to man. The pale light dances faintly across the frozen floor, revealing patterns carved by time, or perhaps by hands long vanished. The air trembles softly, as though a breath of another world is seeping through the cracks of reality. In the center of the chamber lies a solitary pedestal of ice, carved not by tools but by the slow will of the cavern itself. Resting upon it is an object that does not belong to this world. A flute of dark ancient bone, cold as death. It radiates a presence that bends the light around it. Even untouched, it feels alive, as if waiting for someone to draw out the first cursed note. The air around the flute begins to ripple ever so slightly, disturbed by an unseen force. Thin strings of fog pull toward it, drifting like whispers drawn to a forbidden melody. The cavern reacts in kind, shifting, trembling, sensing the power it once tried to bury. Whatever silence once protected this place is now beginning to break. A soft glow awakens deep within the flute's hollow core, barely visible yet undeniably alive. Pale blue light pulses like a fragile heartbeat, illuminating the frost around it. Something ancient stirs, responding to this faint awakening. The frozen chamber, once still and lifeless, now seems to lean inward, as though the cavern itself is listening for the music that must never be played again. The fog grows denser, swirling with purpose as if pulled by invisible threads. It gathers around the flute, rising in spirals that defy the stillness of the air. The temperature drops sharply, each breath crystallizing into drifting shards. Whatever dwells within the darkness feels the awakening, and begins to answer. Symbols appear, glowing faintly on the ancient ice. Runes long forgotten pulse with energy, reacting to the flute's rising call. These markings tell stories of a guardian spirit bound deep beneath the cavern, one whose power was sealed away through sacrifice and silence. And now, those seals tremble. A sudden pulse of cold blue light expands outward from the flute, bending the air like a shockwave. Fog recoils, ice cracks, and the distant walls echo with a low, resonant hum. The awakening has begun. Something imprisoned in the depths is stirring, and it recognizes the call of the cursed instrument. The cavern reacts violently as the light intensifies. Cracks race across the frozen floor, glowing with a cold brilliance that pulses in rhythm with the flute. The fog lifts in trembling waves, pulled upward as if gravity itself is shifting. Deep below, a faint echo answers. A distant, ancient breath awakening after centuries of silence. Whatever lies beneath is no longer sleeping. The runes ignite with sudden force, illuminating the entire cavern in shifting tones of blue. Each symbol trembles, vibrating with the same unnatural frequency emanating from the flute. The air becomes heavy, dense, as though reality is struggling to hold itself together. A whisper echoes through the chamber, neither voice nor wind, signaling the return of something long exiled from the world. Mist begins to coil upon itself, rising into forms that resemble faces. Pale, hollow, neither living nor dead. They drift in silence, bound to the will of the flute, or perhaps to the one who once wielded its power. Their presence chills the air further, and the cavern feels smaller, suffocating, as if these spirits are reclaiming the home they once lost. An unseen pressure tightens around the chamber, bending the mist into spirals. The flute's glow deepens, shifting from a soft pulse into a steady, ominous radiance. The fog trembles as if answering a silent command. This is no simple awakening. This is a summoning, a call to a guardian bound by ancient vows, a being whose presence once shaped the fate of all who entered this hollow place. The air warps around the flute as energy condenses, forming thin threads of swirling light. Frost detaches from the ground and floats upward, suspended in the pull of a growing force. The cavern darkens except for the ghostly glow radiating from the artifact. Something powerful draws nearer, a presence older than memory, returning to reclaim what was once its own. A shadow flickers in the distance, barely visible through the dense fog. It is tall, impossibly tall, moving with a slow, deliberate grace. The cavern seems to bend beneath its weight, as though acknowledging the approach of a forgotten entity. Its arrival answers the flute's call. The guardian, bound in silence for centuries, is beginning to form. The fog thickens, gathering around a rising silhouette shaped from darkness and cold breath. Two faint points of light appear, eyes hollow and ancient. They pierce through the mist with an eerie calm, neither hostile nor benevolent, but inevitable. The guardian is awakening, reclaiming its form, drawn forward by the cursed melody that echoes through the chamber. The cavern vibrates with growing intensity. Walls distort, bending inward as if reality itself is being reshaped by unseen hands. The very air seems to twist, turning in unnatural patterns around the flute. What began as a whisper has become a force capable of warping the world around it. The guardian's presence thickens, and the line between spirit and matter fades. The fog parts as a colossal form pushes forward. Its outline is barely visible, carved from shadow and cold mist. The ground trembles beneath its unseen steps. There is no sound, no growl. Only silence, heavier than stone, as the guardian draws closer. The flute's glow intensifies, reacting to the being it once helped bind, or perhaps release. A tidal wave of energy bursts outward from the flute, illuminating the guardian's towering frame. The cavern explodes with light, casting violent shadows that stretch and twist across the walls. The guardian's eyes flare with cold fire, awakening fully for the first time in centuries. And with this awakening comes the echo of terrible memory, of why the flute was sealed away. A resonant pulse surges from the flute, releasing its first true note. The sound carries no warmth, no life, only the echo of forgotten power. Waves of cold blue energy ripple outward, bending the mist into perfect circles. The cavern falls silent, listening. Even the guardian hesitates, as if recognizing the beginning of a melody long forbidden. The first note marks the true awakening of the curse. From deep within the fog, a tall spectral figure begins to form. Its outline stretches across the cavern, towering beyond human scale. Two distant, glowing eyes emerge, silently observing the world it once ruled. The guardian does not yet move, but its presence alone bends the air, commanding the mist to shift around it. The atmosphere grows dense with an unspoken warning. The cavern twists violently as though reality itself struggles to hold the guardian's shape. Frozen walls bend and ripple like disturbed water. Mist spirals upward, drawn into the vortex created by the flute's power. The guardian's form flickers between substance and illusion, testing its return to the physical world. Each pulse of energy brings it closer. Shards of ice lift from the ground, suspended in the charged air like fragments of broken stars. They hover weightlessly, pulled into orbit around the awakening power. The cavern glitters with cold light as the shards reflect the flute's pulse. The guardian watches in silence, its presence affecting every corner of the chamber. Something irreversible is happening. The mist begins reshaping itself with unsettling intent. Long, ghostly hands form from the fog, stretching toward the flute with yearning, desperate precision. They tremble as they reach, not in malice, but in hunger, drawn to the source of all awakening. Their movement distorts the air, revealing glimpses of countless spirits trapped within the curse. The second note erupts, far more powerful than the first. The cavern shakes as spiraling torrents of cold blue energy twist outward, tearing through the mist. Ice fragments scatter, pulled into violent motion. Even the guardian recoils slightly, its form wavering under the pressure. The flute song is no longer a whisper. It is a command echoing across realms. The guardian steps forward, its immense form rising through the mist. Its eyes flare with ancient recognition as it draws nearer to the cursed artifact. Fog bends away from its approach, fleeing as though the air itself remembers the dread of its presence. The guardian is awake, aware, and aligned with the force that summoned it. The cavern dims as the guardian's gaze intensifies. Two enormous glowing eyes pierce the fog, focusing entirely on the flute. Their light is cold and all-consuming, revealing the weight of centuries of imprisonment. In that gaze lies judgment, of the flute of the cavern, and of whoever dared disturb the ancient silence. The guardian advances, its vast silhouette filling the chamber. Mist swirls violently around its shape, drawn into the gravitational pull of its presence. The air tightens, pressing inward, as if the cavern itself fears what comes next. The flute trembles in midair, responding to the Guardian's approach with flickering pulses of dark blue light. A thunderous surge of energy erupts from the cavern ceiling as reality fractures. A column of cold light bursts upward, shattering ancient ice and sending shards spinning through the air. The Guardian stands unfazed, absorbing the shock with silent authority. The flute radiates uncontrollable power. The chamber is no longer a cavern. It is a battlefield between the unseen forces of awakening. The ground gives way beneath the cavern, collapsing into an endless abyss of swirling blue fog. The depth seems infinite, a cold chasm carved by ancient power. Wisps of mist rise slowly from below, drifting like lost souls pulled toward the surface. The echo of the Guardian's presence lingers in the air, pressing down on the ruins. Silence returns, but it is the silence of something watching from the darkness beneath. From the abyss, countless spectral shapes ascend. Hollow faces, faint silhouettes, drifting like memories torn free from the void. They circle the chamber in slow, ritualistic motion, bound to the song that awakened them. Their eyes glow faintly through the mist, but hold no malice, only longing. The cavern feels smaller, enclosed by the presence of these forgotten spirits rising to witness the unfolding destiny. The flute lifts higher, rotating gently in midair as it emits a pulse of cold blue sound. The cavern vibrates with the rhythm, and the mist coils tightly around the artifact in spiraling patterns. Ancient runes flicker like dying stars along the cavern walls. The melody is no longer hesitant. It plays itself, resonating with the power of countless trapped souls, guiding the awakening toward its final form. The fog gathers into a towering shape, an immense ghostly mask, its hollow eyes glowing with eerie intelligence. The face forms slowly, as if sculpted by invisible hands rising to dominate the cavern. Its gaze is ancient and unreadable. The Guardian's presence condenses into this single haunting visage, watching over the flute with a mixture of recognition and dread. The chamber holds its breath. The mask leans forward, descending from the mist as if acknowledging the cursed instrument. Trails of vapor stretch from its features, distorting the air with its closeness. The light in its hollow eyes brightens, searching, demanding. The cavern groans under the strain of its presence. This is no mere apparition. It is the embodiment of a power once sealed for fear of what it might unleash. The mask opens its immense, hollow mouth. Inside, a deep blue glow pulses like a breath drawn from the void. Long ribbons of fog are pulled inward, vanishing into its darkness. The flute flickers with unstable light, caught in the gravitational pull of the entity. Reality trembles. The Guardian is ready to consume the very force that awakened it, or be consumed in return. A violent stream of energy erupts from the mask, blasting upward in a surge of spectral light. The cavern ignites in cold brilliance. Vapor detonates into spirals, and shards of ice tear through the mist like fragments of shattered stars. The flute pulses wildly, resonating with the unleashed force. This is the breaking point. The moment the power sealed for centuries finally escapes its confinement. The mask begins to collapse, its form cracking apart as uncontrolled energy surges through it. Sections of vapor rip away, dissolving into the chaos. Glowing fractures spread across the spectral face, marking the unraveling of the Guardian's shape. The cavern spirals into disorder, overwhelmed by unchecked power. What was once bound is now beyond restraint. A colossal explosion of cold blue energy engulfs the chamber as the mask shatters completely. The blast sends shockwaves of light through the fog, erasing the Guardian's form in an instant. Ice shards and spectral fragments scatter into nothingness. The flute hovers alone amid the chaos, absorbing or resisting the collapse. It is impossible to tell. The ancient curse has reached its peak. When the light fades, a vast silence settles over the ruined cavern. Mist drifts gently through the empty space where the Guardian once stood. All that remains is the flute, hovering in calm blue glow, untouched by the destruction it caused. The chamber is quiet, too quiet, as though the world is holding its breath. The curse is not gone. It is waiting for the next hand bold enough to lift the flute once more.